Alright guys, here it is, the Team Associated Apex2 Hoonitruck. I've been really excited for this thing to arrive, and today it has. Let's get this thing unboxed and take a look at what you get. Right, so in the box we get a Team Associated flyer, a manual for the brushed ESC, a manual for the transmitter, the Hoonigan truck manual itself, which looks pretty nice, got some nice pictures in it. Everything looks well laid out. It's got all the information you need for all the parts and everything else, so definitely want to read through that. Some extra stickers here, bind plug, and a bag with extra parts. Looks like we've got some ball joint bushings, a servo horn, an extra spur gear, mirrors, looks like windshield wipers, and a few other bits and pieces. You also get this XP120 transmitter. This transmitter seems pretty nice. It's got a nice trigger throw, it's got a foam wheel on it. It's nothing fancy. It just has your standard steering and throttle, dual rates and trims. Takes 4 AA batteries. It's a ready-to-run transmitter. All right, now for the truck itself. This truck is really awesome. This is the Hoonitruck, and it's a Ford pickup truck licensed by both Hoonigan and Ford. And it has all the correct decals and logos everywhere on it. I think it looks really, really good. They got some really good detail on here on the engine. And once I get the windshield wipers and the mirrors on, it's gonna look even better. So I'd like to thank Tiny Adventures RC for partnering with me to bring you this truck. They're a local hobby shop, but they also have an online presence, and they've got some great prices and actual real people if you call them. I'm gonna leave a link to their website in the description. Check them out. Let's take a look under the hood. First thing I wanna mention is this is a small car. It's about 16 inches without the rear spoiler being included, and it's pretty narrow as well. That being said, it's got some weight to it. I was expecting it to be a little bit lighter, but it definitely has some decent weight to it. That's probably owing to the all-metal drivetrain. Let's take a closer look at things, and then I'll take it apart and show you what the differentials and things look like. You get threaded body shocks, which are all plastic. The shock towers have an aluminum piece in them. Got a pretty interesting steering linkage setup here. It goes from here to this crossbar, and then these two bell cranks, and then out. Seems pretty good. The servo itself appears to be metal geared, although I think those gears are brass, but in a car this small it probably doesn't really matter. Like I said, the drivetrain is all metal. You've got metal dog bones in the front and in the rear, as well as a metal center drive shaft here. I think the spur gear might be plastic because the replacement spur gear is. Now flipping this over, it's kind of interesting. This chassis is not aluminum like I thought it was going to be. It's actually G10 fiberglass. I don't think I've ever had a car with a G10 chassis. It feels pretty stiff, and G10 is a good strong material. I'm not sure it would hold up to serious bashing, like crashing into walls and things like that, but I think it'll hold up to the kind of abuse that this thing is designed to be put through. You can see from the bottom here, you've got all hex hardware. The links are plastic and non-adjustable. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. This is the Reedy brushed power system. It's a pretty big brush power system for what size this car is, but it's still a brush power system. For the price, it remains to be seen whether or not it's going to be adequate. If it's powerful enough for the car, then great, but I think a lot of people are going to be expecting a brushless power system at this price. If you're interested in seeing this with a brushless power system, let me know. I've got a couple I can throw in here, and we can make this thing go ballistic. The ESC is good for 2 and 3S LiPos. BEC is actually 7.4 volts. That's nice. I expected it to be a 6-volt BEC. You've got your switch here for nickel metal hydride or LiPo. It's already on LiPo. Receiver box appears to be reasonably water resistant-ish. I see a little hole there where some water could get in, but it seems fairly well sealed. Tires are decently sticky. They seem like kind of a medium compound. I think they'll last pretty well. This has what appears to be all sealed bearings all the way around. I think that's pretty much all there is to say about the overview for it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull one of these differentials out and pull this cover off the center, and we're gonna see what this looks like, if this is a center differential or if it's just a spool, and how beefy the differentials and things themselves look like they're gonna be. While I work on taking this truck apart, this would be a great time for you to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified of future videos. We're gonna be taking this truck out and bashing it, as well as putting a bigger power system in it and seeing just how fast we can make it go in the future, so you're not going to want to miss that. Well, this is definitely not the easiest vehicle to work on. There are quite a few screws and bits and pieces I had to take off in order to get as far as this. It wasn't terrible, but it's just a lot of screws. If you don't have power tools, it's going to take you a minute. That being said, these bits do look pretty beefy. It's an all-steel drivetrain, which means that the ring and pinion are steel. These are going to be sintered steel, but they're still steel. The differentials appear to be filled with grease. I don't feel any oil in them. Looking up here, it's a 3-gear, I guess transmission you would call it. The pinion gear is steel, and then the second gear is plastic, and the spur gear is also plastic. Now, looking closer, we see that there is no center differential here. There's obviously a place for a center differential, but this doesn't come with it stock. That's pretty unfortunate. I was hoping that it would. I took a look in the manual and I didn't see anywhere where it showed a place that you can get a center differential yet either. That being said, this also looks like it's set up for sway bars, and I don't see a place where you can get sway bars either. So we've got this center locker here, and it connects with this very short drive shaft in the front and a longer drive shaft in the rear. Locker is metal. The little outdrive cups, unfortunately, are plastic. I'm not really certain how well this thing's going to hold up to brushless power. I guess we're going to find out. Here's a look at the steel dog bones. They look to be pretty high quality. Looks like they'll hold up well to the kind of power, at least stock, that's going to be put through this. While I was taking it apart, I also noticed that they've got a place where you can plug a fan in here for cooling the motor, which is pretty cool. All right, well, there it is all back together. It went back together more easily than it came apart. I learned a couple things along the way. It's really not that hard to work on. One thing I wanted to mention before we go is that this battery tray takes standard shorty battery packs, which means it's only about 95 millimeters long. So most 3S packs that you have, unless you already have shorty packs, aren't going to fit. There's a shorty pack already available for this from Team Associated, so you can just get that one. And there are probably some other options available as well. So what do I think about this truck? Well, I think it's a pretty cool little truck. The big question is going to be, is it worth the asking price? They're asking quite a bit of money for this vehicle, and it's pretty well built, comes with some decent parts, but I think the deciding factor is really going to be, is this thing any fun? Does it drive good? Does it have enough power? Can it drift? Can I do donuts? Is it durable? Well, those are the things we're going to be finding out in upcoming videos, so stay tuned for those. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.